Hello and welcome to Lofty May Vlogs. My name is Tracy and I'm the host of the Knitting on the Float podcast. I'm getting a bit of a laugh today because there's somebody up there playing with a chainsaw, and I'm thinking that Sharon of the Knitting Project, maybe her neighbor, has come to live over here and cut down trees. We have some of the Canada geese right here, but I have some exciting news today for our nature. We're not just going to stay here today, we are going to go on a field trip, which is going to be kind of a fun thing. The sun is just starting to come out, and I looked at the weather ahead. It looks like for the next week we are going to have sunshine in the Vancouver area, and that makes me super happy. So welcome to today's vlog. I have a little bit of footage from the big tugboat and the barge that went through last night, so I'm going to put that in with the nature. And then look at this. All of the geese have come to say hello to you. And then, as I mentioned, we're going to go on a field trip. We are then going to work in the loft for a little bit, and we are going to have a little bit of knit chat or craft chat, and then a drink. But let's look at these lovelies. Oh, look at this one goose is stretching out. There are some bigger size goslings, the two there, and then just in here we've got some medium sized goslings, and then down the way there's some little uns. I'll zoom in as best as I can and see if we can get a better view of each of these families. So there's Mama Papa with, oh, I thought they only had two, but they've got four little uns. And then we will zoom over here, and this group, they've got four as well. 2, 3, 4, oh, they've got five actually. And then there is a group just under the bridge there, and they have two big chunks of chocolate. So, well, you know, not really chocolate. Anyway, let us get ready to go for an excursion. And yes, we love the geese and all of the babies, but it is also nice to get out and about when we can, and we are going to do that now. For anyone who is new to the Knitting on the Float podcast or vlogs, this is something that happens every second night, usually after midnight. So it is now the 24th of May, and yes, I am a night owl, I am up. And what this is it is a very large tugboat. In a moment the light's going to come on and you'll see it. And it is pulling a barge full of laminate veneer. Actually, there are two barges. And what has happened is the siren has gone off on the swing bridge, and the swing bridge has opened in advance so that when this tugboat gets close, the bridge is open, because it's hard to stop the basically two barges full of wood from continuing on their journey. So this is one of the sea imps, and usually by now they've turned on their lights. But I'm sure they will in a moment. They put them on so that then that way when they get near the bridge they can see it. But here are basically the barges, and it's dark so it's hard to see them, but you can tell by the shadows going by the background trees. There's one barge gone through, and the second one is going now. And this is all laminate wood that will be unloaded on the other side of the swing bridge. So there is the back bit of it. And I'll just swing around. They have now turned on the big light for the tugboat, and the swing bridge is fully open now. Usually, I'm going to swing around a little faster. Usually there's not much of a wake created. This is the first time I've come out here and seen such a huge wake created from the tugboat pulling those barges. Anyway, as I was saying, what will happen with the laminate is it will dock on the other side of the swing bridge. Listen to those waves. And there will be trucks that take it across to, see where all those lights are, right across on the island. They will take all of the laminate there, and then that facility there deals with the barges. Anyway, I thought I would come out. It is now the 24th, so happy May 24th. And I'm gonna sleep now. When I see you next, it will be morning. Hopefully it will be beautiful and sunny, and we will take on a whole new task in the loft. But for now, it's my bedtime. We are on our field trip, and I have brought Isaac with me. We are picking Nathaniel up from a school field trip, and we are at a local park. So we're gonna look for squirrels and other things until we find the main little animal, which would be
Nathaniel.
your brother. Yeah.
He's an animal.
Sometimes he is. But he's a cute one. Let's look for squirrels. Isaac, if a tree falls in a forest, does anybody hear it? It's an unknown.
I think it would hit me, so I hear it with my head.
Okay. Anyway, so we'll go for a little walk. We are in a local park in the Vancouver area, and Nathaniel is on a talking trees excursion today. And look at these huge trees. I do hear babbling brooks, and I also hear lots of children's voices. So that's promising. That must mean we are close to finding Nathaniel, because I'm a little bit worried that we might not. He has ukulele today, so I've got to pick him up from the excursion, bring him home for ukulele, and then he goes back to school. Anyway, Isaac, which way did you go? I'm not sure which way to go. I'm going to take the straight path. And there are little creatures down there, but they're too small for Nathaniel's group, so that's not the one we're hearing. The whirring sound is the sky train. I've completely lost Isaac. I'm sure he is ahead somewhere. Oh, there he is. Oh, good. He's right down there, so I'm not so lost. What do you see, Isaac? Isaac sees a babbling brook, and I see an incline or decline that I need to be careful going down. Stand here. It is pretty.
I heard screaming children and I thought it was Nathaniel.
I thought it would have been his class too, but not quite.
Very young.
Anyway, there
We should get out of there.
is the sound of happy children and babbling brooks. Look at this tree here. If trees could talk, this one would be saying, ouch, I think. But it may be dead, but it's creating life for other critters in the forest. There are lots of ferns along the path. And it is definitely a nice park that we will need to come and revisit. It's a very urban park, But other than the whirring from the sky train, you'd never know it. You can hear the birds in the trees. So I think for today, this will be our nature. And it's beautiful, isn't it? We found a creature in the wild. Here's Nathaniel. And look, there's a crow over there too. But we've got you. We picked you up for your trip. Was it a good trip?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, gotta love 13-year-olds.
Yes.
13-year-olds are so fun, aren't they, Isaac?
Yes.
Oh, sibling rivalry. Okay, we are on our way home. Yay, ukulele! We are back from picking Nathaniel up from his field trip, and he's upstairs just getting ready and prepping for his ukulele class. And I thought I would take this moment to breathe for a few moments, chat a little bit about crafting and other things, and enjoy a nice warm beverage. Now, you'll have to forgive me. I may have cheated today. On the way back from picking Nathaniel up, we stopped at our local Tim Hortons and picked up sandwiches, and I got a nice steeped tea. But as you can see, I've kind of cheated and started sipping a little earlier, but I'm sure you will forgive me. For today, we've gone for a little bit of a walk off the beaten path, and I have gone ahead and had a little bit of a drink. So I think we shall cheer to sometimes going off that beaten path, and that's a fun thing to do every once in a while. So cheers to that. I really feel that my crafting has not quite stayed up to par the past few days. And part of it is at the end of the night, I am a little bit tired and my brain's still going. But another part is that late last week, I received a letter from the CRA, the Canada Revenue Agency. And you'll remember earlier in the month that we put all of the taxes in the upstairs cabinet. We put them away. They were nice. They were easy to find for next year. You know where this is going. In April, on the podcast, I talked about completing the taxes. Well, the letter I received had me pulling out that big hunk of stacked envelopes there from the very bottom, and I have to provide all the documentation regarding our move from Toronto to Vancouver. So I am having to find all the sales receipts for the houses and the legal fees and all of those little bits and pieces. I've got to get letters, and so I've been the past few days focusing on pulling that information together so that I can submit the actual documentation to the CRA in a timely manner. So that's been taking a lot of my energy, and of course that has been impacting my crafting time. So I'll get through it. I just want to get it all done efficiently, so it's here's the information, and then they don't need to come back and say but and ask, where's this and where's that. Hopefully I get everything together so that I can submit it and it's all done, and then we get the tax return back as we are anticipating. Anyway, that does mean that I have had very little energy at the end of the day for the crafting that I have wanted to get up to. And again, last night I worked on this lovely project, and it is, say it for me now, the the second pattern from the Handmade Sock Society, Season 5. It is a test knit. It is beautiful. Tracy, you are using Wool Barn yarn, which is in the gorgeous mist colorway, and it is on soft sock. Now, the difference, yesterday I did a flub. Smooth sock is one of the sock bases that Maya uses, but it's a 75% merino and 25% nylon. This is soft sock, or was formerly known as plush sock, and it is 85% merino, 15% nylon. 85 plus 15 equals 100. We're still working on that math. Anyway, this is the gorgeous yarn I am using. It is attached to sock 1. I did a couple more repeats, but definitely did not do as much as I would have liked to have done. But I think as I've started pulling most of the paperwork together, I've got to get something on the weekend from somebody else. So I've, at this point, put that on the back burner, and maybe that will leave me enough time to do a little bit more crafting, because that's what I really want to be working on, not taxes. I already did taxes. Anyway, it'll all be good. It'll all be good. Anyway, this is the crafting I got up to, and I am hoping that it'll be a little bit more tonight than it was last night, because last night was just a minuscule amount, really. Anyway, we are going to have another sip of tea, because tea makes everything better, or at least for me. And then we will go up to the loft. Actually, no, we're going to enjoy our tea. I am going to craft, because it is almost ukulele time. So I get an hour of listening to the lovely lesson. I'm going to put the camera away for a little bit, and I'm going to focus on crafting, tea, and me, while Nathaniel plays lovely songs with his class. And then we're going to go up to the loft. And that sounds to me like a really good plan, because you know what? I like going off the beaten path, and the middle of this Wednesday, that is exactly what I'm going to do, and cheers to that. I'm going to tell you right now, Scout, this isn't me. This isn't my fault. And yeah, just saying, it's not me. This isn't going to be here for long. Well, during Nathaniel's lesson, I got some knitting done, and I'm not going to share that knitting today. It will be nice. I will actually be able to share something tomorrow, not just this is the yarn I'm working with, but I will save that until tomorrow. So here is the bare bones of what we're working with today. And I think today I've got a few of these Rubbermaid bins, and I think I'm going to start doing a bit of a straighten up of the sewing cupboard. So let's take a look at that. And if you'll remember, throughout the month we've been throwing things in the sewing cupboard, so it's not quite as neat as it was at the beginning, though I didn't share it with you at the beginning. So let's take a look at what we're working with. Over the past few weeks, I have been talking about the sewing cupboard. This is our linen closet, and the top 3 shelves are for towels, sheets, and linens for the house, but the bottom 3 sections, so the bottom 2 shelves and then the floor area, that is all for me. And recently, especially in the past couple of weeks, I've just been shoving things in there, and it's a little bit scary. Yesterday, oops. Yeah. Yesterday, I pulled out my self-striping yarn bin, which had been on top of this big, huge fabric bin. Pulled it out. We've got that stored. Today, I'm going to put a bin of fabric back in here, but I'm going to transfer one of the bins we created last week in the Rubbermaid, put it in a Sterilite, and put that there. And then the other job is to take some of these lovely bundles of fabric and put them in the smaller containers, and we will eventually get this straightened up to the way it was before I started cleaning, because this is one of those areas that has definitely gotten worse before it's gotten better. Yesterday I stacked these bins here. I am going to pull 2 of the Sterilite bins, these ones here. So let me put this down. I actually prefer this style of container. So I am going to move the fabric from the Rubbermaid containers. I know we did that the other day. I'm going to take the Rubbermaid containers downstairs to my walk-in closet because they're great for the storage there. And then these here will be for the crafting things. So fabric's going to go in one of these. This will go on top of a big bin of fabric in the sewing cupboard. And then I have these bins. I'm going to start, and we're going to chunk that sewing cupboard because it's gotten pretty bad. And I'm afraid that I probably won't have enough space for all of my lovely little 1/3 meters of fabric, but we'll try our best to see how much we can fit in these. We are back on the floor again. I think that these containers actually hold a tiny bit more than these Rubbermaid ones. So as I said, I'm just transferring fabric from one container to another one, and then these ones will sit nicely on top of the other Sterilites, which is the goal for the one going into the cupboard. Unfortunately, I can only fit one stack one, but I'll do my best. Anyway, this is a beautiful bin of fabric, and it's always lovely to go through and dream of the things that I will make. A lot of these I have dress quantities of, so I have enough to make a beautiful dress. I love this one. I love them all, actually. Lots of Halloween-y fabrics, and they are so fun. Cat whiskers. These are some cotton and steel fabrics that I purchased several years ago. This one's a beautiful one as well. I know these are tulips, but right now they're reminding me of little duckling and gosling feet. An empty bin to go downstairs. And there's still a little bit of room in here that I could probably move a little bit of fabric from the other bin in here so that I can use that space to its fullest capacity. But I also don't want to make this so heavy. That was why we put them from the big bin into the 2 small bins in the first place, wasn't it? Change of plan. I'm going to take these gorgeous Liberty quilting cotton bundles that I bought at Unit in Toronto, and these are going to go in here. I might have one more something nice from the cupboard that I can pop in here too, just to fill it up as best as possible. There is another fabric bin in that cupboard. It's got some fabric in it, but once I empty it, I have another place for storing some lovely things. So I'm going to put this in the dreaded corner to deal with later. You might remember I bought these lovely bundles in Toronto on my last visit there, and these are the things that I'm going to take out of the cupboard, and I'm going to sort them a little bit more effectively than I currently have them, and then they will all go in these bins, or at least as many as I can fit will go in these bins. But again, I've got to put them in a bit of a better order, and again, this is going to be a job. It's going to take a couple of days, and it's definitely going to look a lot worse before things start looking better. And that corner over there, I'm going to start calling it the corner of clutter, because it just seems to it's like a magnet. It draws all the things. Put this here for now and deal with it later. And yeah, that's what's happening again. And again and again and again. Late last spring, early summer, I purchased these gorgeous Rendale Designs Hannah Dale fabrics. And I'm going to put those in one of the bigger bins because they are bigger bits of fabric. While it may look like I've done a pretty good job cleaning this out, and in here we have a couple of lovely kits. Anyway, may look like I've done a really great job of cleaning out, but let's take a look over in the crafting area. And yeah, let's not even go here. I have created a right old mess over here by pulling out all my fabrics, and this corner, which shall now be renamed the corner of clutter, has attracted more things. So we are going to straighten all this up, get it somewhat organized, and figure out how we are going to put it away today. And I think for today that will be a task all on its own. I have definitely created a mess around me, but that's the best way to really start pulling things together, isn't it? I have some remnants from the hand sewn blanket I made last year, so those are lovely little pieces to have. I'm going to put them in this container. One of the other things that I was able to get was this really fun pre-printed bunting, and I absolutely love the bunting all around up here, so I think it would be fun to make some more as well. So I have that to work on in the future, and I think I will pop that in this container here. And I've got some lovely Liberty bundles along with the cotton steel, my lovely fabric remnants. I am ready to close this up, put this back in the cupboard, and then we are going to deal with all of the lovely thirds that I have from the lovely store in Bowenville. And yes, there are lots. I don't think they'll quite fit into here, but we'll see what we can do. I really do quite a bit of looking around and hemming and hawing and trying to figure out where I want to put things. I'm trying to decide whether maybe these bins can go on a shelf and then have things put around them, so then that way it's really quite easy to access the contents, but they do take a lot of room on those shelves. So still thinking. For now, I think I'm gonna see how these lovely 1/3 meters, how they go in the smaller bins. It doesn't hurt to try a few things out, see if it works. If it doesn't, I can always put them back in a big bin and then figure out where I'm going to store them. Worst comes to worst, it could go in my closet downstairs, but I really don't want it to. This has actually turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to. I have been able to put all of my 1/3 meter lovely bits of fabric And isn't that a lovely bit of fabric? Into these two bins. And so here is one. It's a little bit of space at the side on this one. Lid goes on very nicely. And the second one, ta-da! Look, there is space for my fabric to breathe, which is a good thing. It is not an invitation for more fabric to go in though. It really isn't, even though it looks like it should be. Anyway, look at that. 2 bins. I was thinking it was going to take more than that, and these should fit into that cupboard really nicely, and then these will be so much easier to grab when I want to figure out whether I want to make some project bags. I've picked out so many ideas for quilts. I'd like to make a pinwheel quilt. So these 2 bins make me really, really happy today. Look at this. I have been able to put those 2 small bins. I've stacked them in there. And then I have the bin of fabric here. And then I have some kits that I have. I've got a bunch of English paper piecing in that box there. And I also have a beautiful English paper piecing kit on top of that quilt kit. And my blocking pegs, important. We still need to deal with this shelf, but down here I've put the fabric here. So look at that. Yes, it looks very blocky, but you know what? It's fairly organized, which is good. However, there is still one more area that I need to figure out today, and it might very well work out that tomorrow that bin can fit in here. We shall see. Let's go back to the crafting area. Over here, I have a bin that has some beautiful Rendale Designs fabrics. Those are by Hannah Dale. And there's speckles and there's lovely little animals. There's also some batting in here. This bin has quite a bit of room for other things. I could probably put these items in a medium-sized bin if I clear out one of my fiber bins. It's a possibility. I think for now though, we're just going to straighten this up a little bit, put the lid on, and we're going to put it into the corner of clutter. Yeah, that happened. But you know what? It's all good. It is all good. And this is how we are going to leave this side of the loft for today. You may notice that this pile has grown by a medium bin. That's okay. We're going to deal with that one tomorrow. I have also tamed down the corner of clutter a tiny bit. So slowly but surely, things are getting done. I'm happy with how the linen closet is starting to shape up, but it's going to need at least another day, maybe 2. I have popped outside, A, to cool down, and B, to say goodbye. And look at all these male mallards just sitting on the shared dock, letting the female mallards look after the little ducklings over on the other side of the mud flat. It was, I think, a very productive day in the loft, and thank you for joining me as I continue the cleanup. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow when I think we're going to need to tackle some more of that sewing cupboard, and it's going to look a little bit blocky with all of those things in it, but you know what? It's going to be so much easier to actually access the things I want when I want to craft. So it's coming along. I will see you tomorrow, and I hope that you have a wonderful day, evening, whatever time it is for you, and we'll see you then. Bye. Isaac with me, and I want to share something really, really special with him. Pull open that drawer there.
This one?
Yeah. You got it. What is it?
Oh.
What is it?
C is for cookie, and cookie is for me.
And does that make you happy?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll put that on your door once I get to it, but I mean, how long does it take me to do these? It actually shouldn't take me long once I get it out of the container, set up, and commit to doing it, but I think you'll like this, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we will see you tomorrow. Bye.